I have been looking through YouTube for some updated Saints Row gameplay as we are inching closer to the release date, which is coming on the 23rd of August. Upon looking through, I found this video from IGN. We will watch the video. It's the final preview they've given for the game, and obviously YouTube disabled the dislikes. However, there are extensions you can use on Google Chrome to get the dislikes back, and their gameplay video has 6,600 dislikes. So flicking through the comments, this screams PS Plus free game of the month energy. This game has a stuff the kids like corporate meeting all over it. Part of me thinks this will succeed, and another part of me thinks this will end up in the bargain bin like Agents of Mayhem. The game feels like it's going on sale a week after release. Looks like a fun game to pick up a few months after release when it's on a discount. Saints Row looks like a show you would watch on GTA 5. Ouch. This looks like the kind of game I'll wait for a heavy discount for. Looks like a great Gamepass game. It's not looking good. Everyone just seems to hate the idea of Saints Row in 2022. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be quite fun. So let's jump up, make it full screen. It's an IGN video. I'll leave it linked in the description if you want to watch it for yourself. And let's have a look.
Let's kick some. Holy shit. Turrets. Take cover.
Okay, language straight away. Something GTA 6 might not have.
That was close.
When we got our first real look at Saints Row back in May, we said that the reboot feels like it sits somewhere between Saints Row 2 and 3. As someone who preferred the slightly more serious tone of the second game to the straight-up zaniness of the
I've
third,
really enjoyed
I'm glad
Saints
to
Row
say that
2.
after sitting down and playing a few hours of it for myself, the 2022 reboot definitely feels more like an action comedy from the likes of Matthew Vaughn or James Gunn than a straight-up farce from National Lampoon. Though it also keeps a healthy dose of that bombastic action, which made the later games so fun too.
See, I didn't really like 3 and 4.
That's right.
Now at this point we've seen plenty about Saints Row's extensive customization options, so I won't spend too much time rehashing that, aside from saying that Volition definitely doesn't seem to be overselling that aspect of it. There are loads, to the point where even the voice option you select will sometimes change what language your character's inner monologue speaks in.
Fall in line. Fall in line. Get out.
The overall setup for your takeover of the fictional
Okay, that's a bit of a weird thing to point out.
Like Reno, Austin, and of course Las Vegas.
Can I just point that out? I know I'm talking a lot over the top of this, but I don't get it about games nowadays. Like, people are so interested in creating a character and how their voice sounds. I get it, you can change your voice in Saints Row. How cool is that? But I don't care if I use voice 1 and it's got just a standard dialogue, and then I use voice 2 and they add a couple of extra words or speak a different language. I couldn't care less. The reason I purchase video games, the reason I do YouTube videos on video games, is because I like the gameplay aspect of them. So, insurance fraud in Saints Row, Mayhem, and things like that. Going through and unlocking bonuses for taking over certain territories and things like that. That's the idea of Saints Row in my head, and I know a lot of people were into their character creation. They like making all these, like, I've seen on Elden Ring a lot of fantastic looking characters, but for me personally, I don't care about, like, I do care a little bit, but I don't care anywhere near as much about the story, character creation and things like that as I do the actual gameplay. It's like a game could have a fantastic story, everyone love it, but if that game's full of bugs, I'm going to talk shit about it. Because at the end of the day, we're not paying for a story. If we was paying for a story, we'd go purchase a book. We'd go watch a movie. If we was paying for the audio in a game, like the soundtrack and stuff, we would just go buy a music CD or something like that. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. Obviously, everyone's going to see it different. But it really bugs me how people focus so much on character creation, voice lines and things like that. But let's get back into it and have a look at the gameplay.
As the unnamed boss of a gang of underdogs, you and your motley crew of would-be crime lords take on 3 rival factions in order to make a name for yourselves.
3 rival factions?
Underworld.
I feel like there's a lot we're missing.
There is, but it's enough to go on for now.
This time, however, your anti-hero feels tailor-made for millennials and Gen Z. You begin the game reluctantly working as a mercenary in order to pay off your student loans, while your NPC roommates have...
See, all that sort of stuff. I don't care about paying back my student loans. Let me snap my fucking knee in half by running into a lorry that's coming at me. Stupid things like that. Saints Row, like, it's different if a game is designed around the story. That's fair enough. But Saints Row is not one of those games.
Have joined other gangs to subsidize their aspirational careers as influencers.
Or at least I don't see it that way.
These new Saints are born out of a relatable blend of desperation and disdain for the status quo, though thankfully the writers don't seem to be trying to sell us on the Saints as the public heroes they became later in the original run.
I want you to follow it,
So I can kill everyone and retrieve the stolen goods.
so we know where they're going.
Sure, and then I kill everyone and retrieve the stolen goods.
Now, not every gag landed. We get it, millennials.
And is it me? That looked painful. Is it me, or have the graphics really downgraded on this since we first got a glimpse at it?
But I walked away wanting to see where the next chapter of these plucky psychopaths' story would take them next, and most of the missions that the story strings together were equally enjoyable.
Like again,
While
I'm
there's
not
definitely
too
an
bothered
abundance
about
of drive
graphics,
here
but
and
it's
shoot
looking
these
more
guys,
like an
the demo
Xbox
also
360
coupled the
game
action with set piecing
than it is a
puzzles
Series
and
X.
wild scenarios fairly regularly. It seems that Saints Row isn't afraid to blatantly pull inspiration from a variety of pop culture sources. One lengthy chase was reminiscent of the convoy sequence from Uncharted 4, while another mission had me tearing through city streets with a shipping container tethered to my bumper like in Fast and Furious.
See, that's cool. References from different films and stuff. It makes the gameplay aspect fun.
Though rather than making you the undisputed source of those madcap shenanigans, both on mission and in the open world, it seems to be much.
It said on the screen, hold to ride on the roof, and
that mayhem and
they're on the roof now, I guess. But see what I mean? That looks
Saints Row
fun.
games were perhaps best known for their insane arsenal of slapstick weaponry. I didn't see one dildo bat or gun that shot sharks. That doesn't mean they aren't there, of course, but in my roughly 4 hours of playtime, the craziest thing I fired was a rocket launcher.
It would become repetitive very fast. And it looks as though the rocket... Okay,
There were
it does
some
work
wild
at different
weapons being
angles.
used against me, but your own arsenal seems to be a bit more traditional. Controlling combat was roughly what I expected, gunplay that's more about explosive
Okay,
style
that was a
action.
comment, wasn't it? They mentioned the arsenal being like standard weaponry for them, and then they pull out this weird Gatling gun thing.
Precision aiming or expert timing, though that doesn't mean any or all strategy has been thrown out the window. Many of your
The health
abilities are
bars is
customized
just
skills
gonna
and
mean
perks
bullet
that require you to
sponges,
build
isn't it?
triggers as you fight. The infamous awesome button from Saints Row III, for example, has been replaced by a takedown meter that charges as you get kills and will not only perform one of those cool finishing moves, but also refills a portion of your health bar if you've taken damage. Other abilities, which are unlocked as you level up your boss, can be assigned to hotkeys and used when you gain enough flow in combat. These include
I like the idea of
active abilities like
skills.
temporary health and stat buffs, smoke bombs that hide you from enemies, or that Pineapple Express move that's been shown off in trailers. Speaking
See,
of, I was surprised
how
to
can
learn
you
that
not
aside
enjoy the
from
look of
scripted
something
events,
like
these
that?
abilities are the only form
I
of
do
explosive
get some of the
options
comments,
we've
I
got,
do.
With the ability to toss a frag grenade without dropping it down some guy's pants locked off until you hit level 7. That doesn't feel like a particularly
Why did the cars not explode?
though, as I unlocked it towards the end of my demo, a demo that covered what essentially felt like a lengthy prologue, ending right around when my boss and their band of misfit pals actually start their journey up the criminal ladder in earnest.
Wow, at least we've got a cool logo.
And those early hours definitely weren't spent bemoaning a lack of a throw grenade button. Not only was tossing a bad guy into a crowd of other goons and or their cars to create a gooey, fiery mess.
See, it's already repetitive
time, but
in this
there was,
preview.
as you might expect, a ton of
There we
side
go.
content
Give me some
as well.
fucking insurance fraud. See
As
what I
we've seen in
mean?
trailers
That's
and
the
other
sort of fun.
exclusives here on IGN,
Building up them
franchise
combos,
favorites like
earning that
insurance
money.
fraud and mayhem
Just
are returning
absolutely
alongside plenty of
obliterating your
distracting
character.
activities like a wave defense mode whose difficulty is determined by
What's the
how
point of
well
making them
you
look all
business
pretty and
systems
fancy if you're just
help?
going to smash the shit out of
Literally
them?
just digging through trash, and a delightfully challenging minigame where you attempt to steal an armored car with a helicopter, complete with bonus objectives that
Oh
really
God,
challenge
that's
you to fight
painful
against its
flying.
hair trigger physics.
Good enough. We'll take it from here.
And that madness isn't reserved for the moments when you've got a Brinks truck or a shipping container hooked to your ride either. Even with 4 wheels firmly on the ground and nothing dragging behind me, there was no shortage of spectacular crashes, flips, and jumps. Which I suppose is to be expected from a game that awards you extra XP for driving on the wrong side of the road or almost hitting other cars. That said, while the addition of Burnout-style shunting, ramming, and sideswiping is definitely a big plus, driving did feel floaty at times, and it was tough to get a handle on the difference between using the handbrake button to perform what they call a quick turn and just drifting until I slam my car into the nearest building and whatever poor trees or NPCs happen to be standing in
So
front
you
of it.
don't expect too much realism from Saints Row.
I'll mostly blame my vehicular mishaps on it being my first time behind the wheel, though there were some technical bumps that I can't take credit for. Mostly some
Oh,
LED
okay.
and frame rate
Oh, that
hitching
was
points,
weird.
At one point get locked into a menu and have to restart our PC build, and once ended up with an empty weapon wheel. But ultimately, these errors were mostly just inconveniences and didn't detract too much from what was overall a good time. On the whole, Saints Row is shaping up
They
to
were
be
just
a
inconveniences.
satire.
Yeah, but if you're slapping 60 quid down for a game purchase, you don't want to put a grenade into an empty pocket. You want that character to be there so that you can drop the grenade down their trousers or whatever and yeet them into the next enemy. I do see the comments. It does look as though parts of this would fit perfectly on Game Pass or be the next PS Plus title. But at the same time, I'm still looking forward to it. I'm still going to buy it. I'm still going to play it.
For me, at least, sounds
There's
like
going to
a
be
great
something new,
recipe.
especially in this dry era of
My
gaming
time
that
with
we're
it might
going
not have
through.
been perfect, but the life of a career criminal never is, especially one sharing a 2-bedroom apartment with 3 other people. But any game that lets me raise hell in a bulldozer is one that I'm eager to play more of. You can read my full
Take Me to
impressions of the
Church, that
demo
was
on
called.
IGN.com, and for more on Saints Row, check out our exclusive look at some of the updated side jobs, or listen to Volition's devs break down every secret in last year's reveal trailer. For all
Okay, so I definitely see the comments. I understand where people are coming from. I don't necessarily agree with hating it. Try it before. Don't judge a book by its cover. At least get some hands on. Whether you're waiting 6 months, a year for a massive discount, I'd say don't knock it until you've tried it. Obviously have your opinions and stuff, but don't solidify your opinion. Be like, this game is shit. It's not worth the money. At least until you've given it a little go for yourself. Because as we saw, some of the driving, some of the shooting, it's a different person's perspective. It's a different person's gameplay. And this person didn't look to have the highest sort of skill. And that's typical within game journalism. I've seen a lot of dodgy writers for these companies. I've seen their gameplay and it is not impressive whatsoever. This wasn't too bad, but it wasn't good at the same time. Especially that sequence with the helicopter just flying into everything but the open space. But that was a look at the Saints Row final preview from IGN. As I said, it will be linked in the description so you can check it out for yourself without me talking over the top of it. Check out this video if you want to see some other gameplay for Saints Row on the channel. That's going to do it for this one. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.